This is Ayurveda Health and Wellness Podcast, where you get to meet the best Ayurveda practitioners so that you can transform your life through Ayurvedic science. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another interesting episode, which it will be interesting episode, I guess, to Ayurveda Health and Wellness Podcast with me again, Hitesh, and I have with me Dr. Kanika Verma again. Hi, Kanika.
Hi, Hitesh.
So today we are going to discuss about natural urges, and that is something that affects our, I guess, a lot mental health as well, along with our physical health, and that is a topic which is kind of very important in today's world. So, Kanika, let me start with first finding out the relationship between maybe natural urges and Ayurveda.
Yeah. Actually, natural urges, these are very basic, like flatus, vomiting, sneezing, belching, yawning, hunger, thirst. All these are natural urges. These are some, urges that help our body maintain the metabolism in proper manner. For example, excretion. These urges are related to mainly excretion and to a certain extent input. For example, hunger is related to input. Okay. And yawning or defecation or urination, all these are related to excretion, and these are two very important functions. These are the functions on which the entire metabolism of the body is based. If you don't eat, you'll not get energy, and if you don't excrete properly, that is even worse, because then the toxins and all kinds of wrong things will be accumulated inside your body, and they will hinder the normal metabolism, normal physiology. So these are the ways in which the body maintains the homeostasis. Okay. So these are very, very important. These are more important than social etiquettes. The problem today is that because you are sitting in a meeting, that's why probably even if you feel like you'll not go and urinate or you'll not burp, even if you burp, you'll say, oh my God, excuse me, as if you have done some crime. You will definitely not fart, and lots of things. So people, we are habituated, we are cultured in this way that we naturally are suppressing these urges. Every day in and day out, even children, they are taught to suppress these natural urges because of the kind of routine they have. So we grow up as unnatural creatures that keep on hindering our natural metabolism, and this creates a lot of disorders. When I started studying Ayurveda, Charak Samhita is one of the ancient texts, and in fact, in all ancient texts, I was surprised that there's a separate chapter on it. It is so important because Ayurveda says that stop the cause of disease. Don't create the disease and then go treating it. Instead, stop the cause. And this is one big cause of almost all disorders. One is stress, obviously, and another is unnatural living, which is, this suppression of natural urges is a part of unnatural living. So there's an entire chapter in Charak Samhita dedicated to this, this issue, and it is called Vegana Dharye. That means don't control the natural urges. That's the name of the chapter. And we will further discuss about the severe disorders the suppression of these natural urges can cause.
Okay. Great. So as for the natural urges, I mean, the very obvious question is why we should not stop the natural urges. What happens if we go on and stopping them again and again?
Yeah. See, for example, if there is an office, okay, and there's a lot of waste paper coming in, and what will happen if that waste paper is not removed every day? Then the office will be full of that waste paper. And this is some very, very simple example. let's imagine a kitchen in which you are dumping the waste every day, that extra food. What if you do not remove that extra food outside your house? It will start stinking, it will start decaying, and I don't think that it will stay, that kitchen will be workable after a few days. The same thing happens in our body. Our body has a natural bioclock. It has a very beautiful system where everything works on its own. Whenever there is enough urine inside the bladder swells up, and then it sends signals. Okay, yes, now it's like a balloon. It swells up, and then it sends signal to the brain that okay, now that's enough. I need to take this matter outside. Otherwise, it is becoming too much. When we suppress this natural urge to urinate, then we are creating extra pressure on this bladder. If you do it on a regular basis, the walls of the bladder will thicken, and then the bladder will it becomes stiff. So that's the point where you start developing all kind of urinary tract disorders. You get urinary tract infection. This is so common nowadays, UTI infection. And you can develop kidney stones, you can develop lots of things. And this is only one system that we are talking about. In this chapter, Veganadharya, it recounts severe disorders like facial paralysis. If we control sneezing here, it it is connected with nose. Nose is connected to eyes, to ears, to brain, to all the parts, and this is a very very complicated structure with lots of nerves, lots of blood vessels mashed up together. And that sneezing is a strong force. If you're stopping that strong force, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. When you're stopping the force, it will go bad and it will affect all the nerves and the small blood vessels and everything. So, Charak Samhita says that you can even get facial paralysis if you are in the habit of stopping sneezing. And it's not like if I stop sneezing today, if I suppress sneezing today, tomorrow I'll get facial paralysis. That's not so. But this is a contributing factor. This is a contributing factor for migraine, for chronic headache, and these are severe disorders. So you see,
Right.
it can be so complicated, and these are many many contributing factors. Now the problem is that today we have lots of contributing factors for migraine or for facial paralysis or for any severe disease. We have wrong food, we have wrong lifestyle, we have lots of stress. And if you start suppressing sneezing and all this also, this is also one of the contributing factor, and finally you get migraine. And there are so many cases of migraine that were not there a few decades back. So you see,
True. Yeah.
that's the point.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, that's very true. These urges have to come out of our body, and that's why they are called urges. Because they want to leave your body, and I guess I mean, what are the problems, and what more problems do you think can controlling these urges cause?
Yes. See, Charak Samhita, the chapter I talked about, it lists 10 such urges and the complications that can be caused by them. See, for example, if you control this urination, you can get all kinds of urinary tract disorders, as I mentioned earlier. And if you control, these are two factors are very important. One is sneezing and one is vomiting. So sneezing, I already told you that when you control sneezing, it results into neck stiffness, headache, facial paralysis. This is actually the words of Charak Samhita. Pain in half side of the face. That is, that is one of the strange kind of feature. And weakness of sense organs. All the sense organs will become weak. For example, when you grow older, some people stop listening, and that may come earlier. That early aging, accelerated aging of sense organs. Then Vomiting is also one very important factor. Others are also important, but they are not that severe because sneezing happens in the head region. So that's why it is very
Right.
important. Again, vomiting happens near the head region. That's why vomiting is also very important. Vomiting basically helps to reduce kapha in the body, the kapha dosha. That means excess mucus, excess heaviness. For example, if you have too much of food inside your stomach or some irritation, some kind of irritant that has gone inside your stomach. So vomiting is a urge to remove the excess food or remove the irritant that is inside your body. But if you do not allow the body to remove that irritant or the excess food, then it creates a lot of pressure inside it. And the urge of vomiting creates a pressure on the head region. Okay,
True.
so
Yeah.
uh, now vomiting, because the kapha is not removed, the irritant or the toxin inside the stomach is not removed, then this toxin spreads inside the body, and therefore vomiting can cause severe skin disorders. You see, it is
Okay.
mentioned that wrinkles are caused. One of the contributing factor is the urge to stop, the suppression of vomiting is one of the causes of wrinkles. So I don't think anyone wants wrinkles. And also you can get pruritus, you can get urticaria, you can get edema, you can get jaundice. You can get jaundice because that urge goes back and pushes all the organs back down. That as an equal and opposite reaction, you can get jaundice, you can get fever, you can get all kinds of skin disorders like eruptions and uh, lots of these white marks, black marks, and all these that come on the skin. So these are some of the complications. It also mentions kusht. Kusht is a general reference to all skin disorders. However, it also refers to leprosy. So that means if you are in the habit of controlling vomiting, this happens in case of pregnant women also. They try to control vomiting because probably they are in some social setting and they don't want to vomit, and so they try to control. They sometimes take pills to control vomiting. And there was one pill, I think it was thalidomide or something like that. It was discovered in Germany for controlling morning sickness in pregnant women. And it was distributed throughout Europe. And unfortunately, all the mothers who took that medication for controlling morning sickness during pregnancy, there were instances, more than 1,000 instances of babies that were born with short legs and short limbs. The
Oh.
limbs were short. So this can be the result of controlling unnatural suppression of urges, and that was severe. If you Google that incidents, I'm sure you'll find lots of instances that people were entire generation suffered that.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah,
That's
that is, it
yeah.
can be that severe. So
Okay. Yeah. I mean, also because obviously after vomiting, that's why you feel so good.
mhm.
Every time when you have had the vomiting, and then it's so relaxing and you feel so light. That's naturally because body becomes happy after releasing out all the things that is not required. I mean, that happens a lot of time when also because of the motion sickness,
Yeah.
when you are traveling
Mhm.
and you have eaten a lot, and then, because obviously while traveling, you do not need to eat a lot. You're sitting in a car or a
Mhm.
bus, and, you know, once, there's a motion sickness and you obviously try to control it. But if you don't, and you stop and do the vomiting, get over with it, and then you feel so light, it's now the journey will be fine. So obviously, it makes our body have more happy in the sense, that now the waste is gone. So yeah, I bet that's a natural reaction of our mind when things are going right. So okay, so I mean, my next question would be, Kanika, how do we stop like what urges should we stop,
Yeah.
or is it like we should not stop any urge?
Yeah, definitely. See, in the end of the chapter, it's so interesting. We should not stop the body urges, okay? Because body is a system, it's a machine. See, if a machine is doing its work, say supposing if a grinder is grinding something, put iron rod in the middle of it. So you're stopping it, and what will happen? The system will break, right? So you should not stop the body-based urges like defecation, micturition. All this is right. All this is justified. If there is something wrong inside the body wants to remove it, which is fine. It should be allowed to do it. But there are urges which you should stop, and these are mental urges. And I love this beautiful concept that you should not stop bodily urges like yawning and everything, but you should stop mental urges. These mental urges of greed, of say for example, I stop the urge to defecate, okay, or going to washroom, but I do not stop my urge to for compulsive eating. I just go on eating because I'm greedy for food. So I should actually not stop the urge to defecate, but stop this urge of compulsive eating. Eat as much as is required and not just go on eating because the body cannot stop you. You have to stop yourself. So
Right.
right. So there are these are the urges where you allow your body to be as it is, and that's why infants are the healthiest because they do not have any social hindrance inside their mind, and therefore they just do whatever they want to do. That's why they are the healthiest. If we be like that, we will have less contributing factors, and the urges that we should stop are greed, anger. You see, anger, it stops inhalation of prana. If you observe yourself when you're stressed, your breathing becomes abnormal. So basically, you're
True. Yeah.
stopping the pranic energy or chi or whatever you can call coming inside your body. So that is why it is said that during fasting or whenever you are doing some kind of a ritual, you should not uh, become angry or frustrated because at that time, when you're fasting, you're dependent on that prana because you're not eating, you're not drinking. I've practiced a lot of dry fasting and I've observed that I just sail through like anything. Okay, I'm happy. When I'm happy, I don't feel hungry, I don't feel tired, I don't feel anything even without not eating and not drinking. Or I can go more than 48 hours. But when I become angry, when I become frustrated, I don't feel hungry, but I feel tired. Yeah. So these are the urges. They immediately squeeze away energy. They immediately squeeze away life force from your body. And you can control it. The mind is under our control. We can control the urge to become angry or to become frustrated or sad or, to be greedy or, things like this. These are controllable. Sometimes we always have, this is a sanskar or a mental impression that, okay, fine, I can do this, so let us do this. I can eat, so let me eat all I can. And I'm just saying it, I do it myself sometimes. But yes, we should try to control it.
Yeah, I know that's very important concept, I guess, that you have told us. Urges, I mean, the way we can look at it is there are two kind of urges. One is the bodily urges or physical urges, and then the other one is the urges arising from our mind or the mental urges. And of course, the bodily urges are something that we do not have to control. We have to make sure we do not control them, which sometime might go against the societal norms, but that is what is important for our health. So we have to probably change the societal norm a bit as
Yes,
well.
correct.
And when it comes to mental urges, again, you have to control your mind, put some control in the mind that, this is what you have to do, and, this is how your mind is playing with you, and you have to control certain things. So those are the urges that you have to control. And it's so interesting, how these mental and physical urges are just opposite to, each other. One you have to you do not have to control at all, and other you have to be, controlling, or else, you will just, be lost with the urges. And when I look at it at a broader level, or when I zoom out and see the society in general, and we are probably doing opposite at the moment. We are controlling our physical urges, and because of the societal norms, and we are not controlling our mental urges because everything is available. You have food, plenty of food available these days. You have, everything, anything you want, you can access it somehow, whether it's even, internet, or, going out or drinking, or, anything you want, you have access, probably less than a mile's distance, you can get anything you want pretty much. And that's so, the way we have formed our society, that we are just doing the opposite, and probably that is why there's so much diseases arising, because of, as we say that, lots and lots of the diseases are just because of the societal our lifestyle that we follow, based on what we see in the society, and also because of the lack of such knowledge. There's no one, like what we discussed today. There's probably no one has ever talked to me, or have never heard anyone telling me, this is how you should be, carrying out your life. And because, again, it comes down to society. You never taught such things in the school when you're growing up. Unfortunately, not many parents, although every parent want best for their kids, but then, they do not know these things, or do not know how to tell these things, teach these things to the kids, and they do not realize probably for whole of their lives. That's something that is missing, I guess. That's a kind of piece of knowledge that is missing from our society, and we have to find a way where we can inculcate this in the curriculum, in the schools. How to live in the right kind of way. I guess it's more important than reading the books and gaining the knowledge. These days, it's not important. You can go on the Google and get any knowledge you want. But what you have to find the knowledge which is not there on the Google, and which is probably more important knowledge, which you have to acquire from somewhere. Hopefully, it'll be there on Google as well. But then, there has to be someone telling you that, this is what you have to read, and, you have to acquire this wisdom. So, yeah, I guess that's a really a great learning point for us as grown-ups, and it should be our duty to pass on such knowledge to the young ones. So, yeah, it's great. Kanika, thanks a lot again for today's wisdom, and today's, knowledge about, living healthy life, which is so scarce, and, people just do not know what to do and when to do, what part of the life they have to control and what they do not have to control. And they just, go the other way and mess up the things, which they realize later in their life. So thank you once again, Kanika, for coming on to this episode and sharing your knowledge and wisdom. So we will be back again with another topic very soon. And I guess it's, our every next podcast is getting even more interesting now. So thank you. Thanks again, Kanika.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed our podcast. Do not forget to follow us or subscribe. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Towels, bringing Ayurvedic dyeing to the modern world.